Is Game Pass worth it in 2023? I recently purchased Game Pass on PC for 1 month for $9.99 to figure that out. This video serves more as a mass game impressions video rather than a thorough review of multiple games or the entire service, as that would be just too much to handle. But given that I only had 1 month, I was pretty limited in my time, so completing multiple games wasn't really an option nor the purpose why I tried Game Pass. My intentions were to try out as many games as I could and see what kind of value I could get from doing that, and if some of these games were worth buying at full price, on discount or not at all. If you're looking for a quick answer, yes, it is very worth it, and whether you want to play just a couple of games or use it as a $10 paywall to a demo fiesta, I think you'll have a great time. So let's get started. The first game I played was Moonscars. In terms of graphics, this game really had something out going for it. The pixel art is dark and gritty, and the movement animations are smooth as butter. I would say the aesthetics is going for something like a mix between Castlevania and Dark Souls, which are probably about the same, but you know what I'm getting at if you look at this even for just a little bit. Most of the combat has you switching between attacking and using these abilities called witcheries you acquire with skill points and finding the right moments to dodge or parry, like a lot of these other kind of games that work like this. The windows for these are pretty lenient, but the game itself isn't really a pushover at all. Given there is plenty of inspiration from other action platformer games, this one seems to have more of an emphasis on the combat side rather than the platforming. Despite its look, it's a lot less sinister and unforgiving than something that's more platformer heavy like Celeste. One other unexpected similarity to a game like Celeste is you can fight an alternate version of yourself, and once you defeat this alternate version of yourself, you can gain new weapon abilities. For example, a sweeping hammer that does massive damage to multiple enemies in one attack. That was my first and personal favorite of all the weapon abilities that I got. However, I didn't have enough time to finish playing this one in my limited time. It's definitely a game I would consider buying on discount in the future when I have more time. When that time comes, I would be curious to see how the game progresses later on as you acquire more abilities and discover new areas. It's definitely something I'll look into buying on a sale. Loop Hero was the next game on my list. I played this game quite a bit compared to some of the others. Loop Hero looks really simple, and I didn't understand it at all when I was first looking at the images on the store page. But once I started playing it, that's when it started to click. The experience is pretty hands-off and share a lot of similarities to a Balloon Tower Defense game with a dazzled up Atari game aesthetic. Given this was a Game Pass on PC, I played it exclusively at my desktop, but I personally feel this game would be a lot more enjoyable on a handheld device where you can relax a bit more on a comfy couch and soak in the pixelated goodness. This is something I've already bought on Steam, and it will be joining the lineup of games I play regularly, like Vampire Survivors for a quick 1-hour session or so, where I can easily suspend for later if needed. The next game I played was Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, and this game fell off approximately 5 minutes into the experience. If you haven't heard anything about this game on PC so far, the PC port is kinda crap. For me, the game just wouldn't stop stuttering, which became a really jarring. Even when I set the graphics to minimal, it never fixed those issues. So, in its current state on PC, it's not something I would consider worth it at all. That being said, from what I could play of this game, I really enjoyed it. I played through the first big boss, and while it took a while to get used to it, I really started to jive with it towards the end. It's been compared to Sekiro a lot, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm not sure if this game could live up to such a lofty comparison, but I do still think I'd give it another shot on my PS5 after it gets a bit of a discount. The next game I played was Atomic Heart. This is another slightly divisive game that came out, but somewhat also related to this. I recently played BioShock for the first time, and I love the world and the storytelling in that game, and while I'm not the biggest fan of the first-person shooter games, it has a really unique gameplay systems that made it easy for me to enjoy and create my own playstyle. In the starting hours of this one, I felt a lot of those same feelings. The intro section, while a little bit longer than I'd like, always had something interesting moving around to pay attention to. Its depiction of a flourishing society grabbed me, and this game's performance and the graphics really heightened the experience. Unlike Wo Long, this game ran perfectly on my PC and even looks a lot better. Once you get through the initial intro, shit starts to really hit the fan. You meet this old granny with a rocket launcher and these weird mustachioed robots. Some complaints I had were, though, so maybe I suck at it, but the lockpicking was just a bad mini game to me. And eventually I was able to pick the locks after messing around a bunch, but I don't know how I even did it. There's also some weird dialogue in the game, but it's not bad, it's just maybe not to my taste. My favorite feature in the whole game, though, has to be the looting. I feel like just a Roomba going around, sucking up everything, and it's just fantastic. I hope it's in more games. For the last game, though, this was the big one. This was the one I spent the most time by far playing, and that was Hi-Fi Rush. The main inspiration for this video was mostly because I wanted to try this game out, but I wasn't sure if it would be good at the rhythm game mechanics, as it's not really a genre that I excel in. And I sucked, but it didn't really matter, because I still love this game. What I didn't get before I played this is you don't really need to be good at the rhythm game. This game is all about accessibility and fun. Hi-Fi Rush is so video gamey and pure fun, and there wasn't a dull moment from beginning to end. I loved all the quirky characters, I loved the world design, and I loved the art, and I pretty much loved everything about the game. After a certain point, I was having so much fun, I tried to look for things to critique about this game, but I just couldn't, and I didn't really want to do that either. I just wanted to have a grand old time, and I'll leave the critiquing for this game for someone else. I'd like to do a more fleshed out review of this game in the future, to go more in detail about all the things I liked. There was the story, and the writing, and the writing in this game is so cheesy, and it's so wonderful, and I can't remember a game that made me laugh and cringe so much, but it was just such a good time. I can't remember the last time I played a game where it seemed like the development staff and the team just had so much fun with all the references and everything they were able to include in with this game. And I 100% recommend this game to anyone on Game Pass or anywhere else. Give it a try if you are even a little bit interested. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. So personally, yes, Game Pass is a great deal, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who wants to try out a couple games. I think it's a good deal in 2023 and probably beyond, as long as the price doesn't change too much. And I'd probably get it again at some point when there are more games to try out, especially if I'm not sure about them and want to try them out first before buying them at full price. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.